think.
Well, our scheduled invocation speaker is not here tonight. So as has been my standard practice in the past, I'll open up a call to the public. Would any member of the public like to speak an invocation for council tonight?
Step in my seat.
I was going to offer it to council next, so
Oh,
if somebody from the public stepped up, I would ask him not.
Well, I was gonna, but I'm
I
not.
was back and forth somebody
But
else.
since no one from the public is stepping up to do it, I was going to offer it to council. Councilman Grass, please proceed.
Well, I didn't mean to jump in. If you guys want to jump in there, go for it. So I'd be glad to sit down. I pray enough. That's my job, so. Not the praying's not good, but you get the point. I just do it all the time, so. I don't have a problem stepping aside, so.
I'm recording that
Put it on public, that's fine with me. Yeah, all right, guys, let's pray. Lord, we do thank you for your gracious mercy, and we are thankful for the freedom and ability to serve and work in a city. We pray, Lord, that as we do this and engage in the business of the public, that we would do it with wisdom and with care and concern for the citizens, Lord, that you have so graciously appointed us to govern in a small way. And so we pray that we would have wisdom and offer insight and bring benefit to this community in a way that is helpful to all. In Christ, we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Councilman, thank you for your service.
Yes.
My practice, Terry, is always to offer it to the public. If I get a volunteer, then they do it. If I ever get 2 volunteers, which I never have, then I would allow all volunteers to do it. Separation of powers? I'll reference you to the Town of Greece versus Galloway decision regarding separation of church and state. I set out the standard.
I'm referring to the Bill of Rights, too.
Yeah. But then I would have offered it to council, and if 2 council members wanted it, I'd give it to 2 council members. We built an open policy, and I want to make it as open and inclusive as I can. So, with that, the time is now 7 o'clock, and I will call to order this meeting of the Perry City Council for Thursday, February 20th, this regular meeting. Would everyone please rise? Of course. And would you join me in saying, I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Everyone may be seated. Devin, would you please call the roll?
Genevieve Petrov. Here. Craig Elliott.
Here.
Mindy Galbavy. Here. Adam Russ.
Here.
Christopher Powell.
Here.
Terry Wood.
Here.
Mayor James Huglen.
Here.
Paula DeConfort.
Thank you. I find that a quorum is present to do business. Let's see. The clerk and I have prepared the agenda, and to the best of our knowledge, it has all items of business that need to come before you for your attention tonight, and I submit it to you for your approval or your amendment.
I move that the agenda be adopted as printed.
Second.
Moved by Powell, seconded by Grass, that the agenda be adopted as printed. Is there any discussion on the agenda? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please vote aye.
Aye.
All opposed, vote no. Motion carries. Next, we have reading and approval of the minutes. Devin, would you please read the minutes of the February 6, 2020 regular meeting?
I move that we suspend rules, waive the reading, and approve the minutes from the February 2nd, 2020 regular meeting.
Second.
Moved by Elliott, seconded by Grass, to suspend the rules, waive the reading, and approve the minutes from February 6, 2020 regular meeting. Is there any objection to waiving the rules? Hearing no objection, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say no. I understand that one time back around 2001, there was frequently an objection to waiving the rules. I haven't been able to spark any of you to do that to Devin. They used to do it to Judy with some regularity.
Thanks, Mayor.
Good to know.
I thought I might be able to perk Terry up.
I'm questioning, it's like cricket for sometimes, I wonder. So I pick them up.
Then you start reading. Pre-approved reports and presentations. I don't have any. So that'll take us to comments from the public. It is this time and also at the end of our meeting, under any other business, may come before council, that we open the floor up for members of the public to address the council on any matter. There is a 3-minute time limit on public comment. Would anyone from the public like to address council at this time? Seeing no public comment, we will move to communications. Devin, do you have any communications for council tonight?
Yes. We had a couple of correspondence that came through after your agenda packet. You should have received a correspondence from the city attorney dated February 19th. Also, you should have received a correspondence from the city attorney dated February 12th. I received a letter from the Perry Historical Society that I'll read to you. I received on February 7th, dated February 6, 2020, City of Perry, 203 West Polly, Perry, Michigan, 48872. Mayor James Huglet and members of the City Council. Effective immediately, the Perry Historical Society withdraws in its entirety the proposal for additional language to the existing user agreement approved by the city on June 4, 1974, which agreement is still in effect. The Perry Historical Society thanks Mayor Huglet and members of the City Council for their efforts and support. The Perry Historical Society looks forward to many years of historical preservation and improvements to the Calkins McQueen Home and Museum under the existing user agreement. Sincerely, William Roback, President, Perry Historical Society. This is being done annually according to our charter. You've received a full disclosure from Shirley Smith regarding her business and her work ethics with the city, dated February 7th. And then I also have an annual report from the Calkins McQueen Museum, 2019-2020 summary. According to your policy, they can either attend your meetings and give an oral report, or they can send one in and it will be read. So it says, 2019, museum open all year round by appointment, July through December 1st and the third Sundays of the month, 1 to 5 p.m. Events, May, Perry Garden Club meeting, July, museum season opening, August, community cleanup at museum to prepare for Perry Fest, September, Perry Fest events, annual local artist show, face painting, popcorn, water giveaway, piano. Music courtesy of Sue Hammond, Perry Rambler car on display. October, spooky Halloween, candy giveaway and costume contest with prizes. November, annual Christmas wreath fundraiser. December, Christmas wreath fundraiser and Mr. and Mrs. Claus hosted after tree lighting. Music and caroling provided by Sue Hammond and Walt Saxon with the community joining in. 2020, museum open all year round by appointment, July through December 1st and third Sundays of the month, 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. Events, Perry Historical Society meetings last Monday at the month starting at 6:30. Perry Historical monthly meetings is the last Monday of the month, starting at 6:30 p.m. May, Perry Garden Club meeting. July, museum season opening. August, English Garden Tea. September, Perry Fest, including previous year activities. October, Halloween candy giveaway and costume contest. November, annual Christmas wreath fundraiser. December, Christmas wreath fundraiser and Mr. and Mrs. Claus hosted after tree lighting. Items of note, acquisition of liability insurance for Perry Historical Society hosted events along with museum content insurance. Interior and exterior safety upgrades per insurance requirements. These included exit signs, fire/carbon monoxide detectors, and handrail for front porch. Publishing of website now under construction. Pursuit of grants. Fundraising for interior restoration. Proposed budget 2020. Monies unused and previously allocated by City of Perry in 2019 for exterior upkeep. Increase of yearly budget to cover normal cost increases and previously neglected infrastructure. And that's all I have.
Very good, thank you. So we will move to the second meeting of the month. That's right, I don't have department head reports. I don't have any particular mayor report for you guys tonight, but does anyone have any questions for me? Hearing no questions, we'll move to committee reports. Do council members have any committee reports to share tonight? Looks like it might be a quick one. We'll move to presentation and approval of the bills. Council has had an opportunity to review the bills, and we seek your permission to pay them.
I move that we approve the bills as presented and that payment be authorized.
Second.
Moved by Wood, seconded by Elliott, that we approve the bills as presented and payment be authorized. Is there discussion or questions on the bills? Hearing none, all in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please vote no. Motion carries. We've been very efficient recently. Next is old business, and we have no old business. We have only new business. So we begin with the possible approval of an IT rights service agreement. Mr. Tom Conway is here tonight to give you a report and answer questions regarding the service agreement being placed before you. Mr. Conway, if you'd like to address them first, and then I'll open up the floor for them to do discussion and ask questions.
Thank you. Really, the contract that's before you right now represents a small increase for this year. It's the first increase we've had in pricing in 20 years. And with all of the cybersecurity threats that are in the news, we've had to invest quite a bit over the last couple of years in new cybersecurity tools to keep the bad guys out. The biggest one is our anti-ransomware software that you already have. We didn't wait for approval, we wanted to get that out immediately. But it allows us to roll back a computer or a server that's been attacked with ransomware, and then it encrypts all the files. We can actually roll it back to a point prior to the infection. Therefore, you don't have to pay the ransom, and we can unlock it. The most you might lose is a couple files that you had open, which is much better than losing the entire computer. So really, that's probably the biggest thing that we've added over the last couple of years. So we've kind of adjusted our pricing accordingly. So really, the service is it's exactly the same as it was with help desk and on-site support and backup all included. So really, just if you have questions about what might be included or not, or
To give council an update on the city side, the service contract we've had with IT Right for 20-plus years has been $3,500. And as items that we have needed to be able to service the city, we've had small invoices that we have throughout the year. Antivirus, what has been added on, well, antivirus was always on there because that is according to all of our computers. We also have the Department of Public Works, because they're a separate building, they have a backup charge that we get invoiced for. Also, we internally do our website, and if you have any experience of hiring somebody to do websites, they cost anywhere from a basic one to do for $1,500 to tens of thousands of dollars. We pay $500 for our website, and we went to one class, and there's 3 of us that work on the website. Dory is the main, so $500 we're doing internally, and your information is done immediately. There's no turnaround and waiting for an IT person. We're doing that. The city backup is another, so the DPW has a backup, City of Perry has a backup. So when I received this bill at first, I did a few calls because I was used to a $3,500 bill and I was seeing a $6,000 bill. So I was explained, and they had to break it down for me. So I took, at this point, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, there is 5 invoices that this is combining in service with this 6,700. And then what I did is I added up what we currently have paid and then found out it's a 33% increase, and I swallowed hard. And then I divided it by 5. When you look at it, it's about a 6% increase if they would have increased each one. So to me, that is reasonable. And on top of it, I've been here since 2006, going on 14 years, and I've never watched it increase of the 3,500. I call every budget year and ask on every one of these items, and they do not increase at all. So I'm hoping for your support. The only other item that will be considered for our budget is, this one is in 3,500 that I'm used to come seeing is in February. The antivirus is usually in March, and then we have one in July, and in August, and in September. So we're actually combining all of these, and it's gonna come out of this budget, where some of them will be coming out of next budget. I've made sure that Joanne is aware of it, and I'm comfortable with talking to her that our budget will be comfortable with adjustments and will be online again. And Joanne is here if you have any questions when it comes to the budget. So we're actually going over what I originally budget, because now we're paying some of these invoices that are usually later in the year in this budget. Okay, does that make sense? The only item that is not in here, there will be one other, and that is our licensing, and I'm not good on the tech code. The licensing is, that separate invoice is
That was for the firewall
for the
licensing,
firewall,
which
okay.
does need renewed each year. You can get away with not doing it, but the firewall licensing keeps the security level on all of the updates on the firewall current. And that's the only thing that wasn't included.
Right.
I'm gonna be helping a lot with planning going forward too, because I was hired 6 months ago, and my background is all in business. I'm not a technician. I do a lot of strategic planning and budgeting, and so I'll be working with Devin pretty closely on, budgeting out 3 and 4 years on computer replacements, server replacements, those types of things too. Just so that we're not surprised by things.
I move that we approve the contract with IT Direct Service contract for 2 years period as presented by the city clerk for an amount not to exceed $67,2072, and authorize the mayor to sign.
Second.
Moved by Grant, seconded by Elliott, to approve the contract with IT Right Service contract for a 2-year period is presented by city clerk for an amount not to exceed $6,720.72, and authorize the mayor to sign. Is there discussion?
Yes. You're telling me, Devin, that the 6% increase is what, over the normal cost for IT, right?
What I did is I was overwhelmed when I went from what we were currently spending
I am.
and then what was proposed. Okay, so if you add them all up, we were at $5,040. If you add up the 5 invoices totally.
Doing them separately.
Exactly. And so then of course I did my subtraction, 6720 minus the 5040, and figured out my percent, and that's 33%. And then I said, okay, if they did this individually, and some of them are getting increased differently, what I did is there's 5 invoices, so I took 33 and then divided by 5, which gives me like 6% if they would go. And in a matter, if you want to break it down for 20 years, that's...
Yeah, I didn't care about the whatever it is, those packages. I just wanted the base thing that we get every year, and that's a 6% increase over that, approximately.
Yes, if you're looking at everything that we get on an individual, but each one of them would have been a 6% increase is what I'm telling
Where are
you.
you at on East Clark Road?
We're right in Bath.
Right in the city?
Yep, right on the 4 corners.
Oh, I'm sorry. I graduated from there. Okay, I'm good.
$1,700 difference.
Okay. I just want to make sure. I thought that's what it was, but
Yep.
With all the municipalities getting hit in recent years by ransomware attacks and everything that's going on, it's important to keep this up to date. Is there further discussion, questions? Hearing nothing else, all those in favor of the motion, please vote aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say no. The motion carries. That will take us to our next item of business, which is the second quarter budget comparison and possible amendments. Joanne, did you want to give council a report on this before we open this up?
You all should have a copy in your box. Most of you had one sent electronically. If you look at this budget, on the second page is highlights of what you can expect to see. It's nice reading. It takes away some of the boringness of all the totals and all the figures. I would like to run through and go through a couple of items that I found were things of importance, I guess you could say. On page number 1, the very first line item, 101-402, it shows that we have $553,000 collected for taxes, and at the point in time in December, that was 92%. And I checked today, just today, and we're at 95.3%. That's the best we've done since I've been here. Usually it's 91%, 90%, so we're at 90, almost 95.5, so that's a good thing. The next item down, about halfway down, is item 575, state income tax shared. This $5,274, we did not have it budgeted, but it came in. This is stimulus that we received for the loss of personal property taxes. They took away our personal property tax for anything 80,000 and below, and they replaced it with this. Okay, further down, we have miscellaneous revenues. Down at the bottom, 101,695. We have additional money that came in. We were budgeting 1,000. To date, we've had 3,000, or actually to December 31st, 3,781. $957 of that is unclaimed property that was held at the state that I didn't even know that we had until a friend of Devin said they were going through it and found it, we should look it up. So I contacted them, sure enough, they were payments, either checks that were not cashed for cable companies that have changed hands or whatever, but that money was there and all we had to do was ask for it and they sent it to us. And the other large part of that is $3,575 was money that we received to reimburse the police department for their help when they had the bad tornado storm that went through. Our officers went and helped, and that was reimbursed by the state. So we received that income. Okay. And some of these line items are at 50%. Other ones are higher. If you'll look at the bottom of page 3, line item 101-202-910, we have budgeted 35, we actually spent 36,771. This is a one-time expense. Our insurance comes out in one check, so that line item will have no more going into it. So that's okay if that's at 100%. It's a little bit over, but the general services for the whole fund is at 44%, so we're good. We're under the regular 50%. At the bottom of page 3, top of page 4, this is our Board of Review. And as you can see, those are all at 0 because the Board of Review does not meet until March. So we won't have any expenses in that account until next month, the beginning of next month when we have our Board of Review meetings. Usually it'll cost us pizza, and so that'll show up in March.
Which Mr. Schweikert usually buys for them.
Yeah, usually. Okay, on page 5, at the top, I believe line item 101-336 is our SATA. And as you can see, that line item is at 74%. Again, this is a one-time, we budgeted $6,263 and we actually spent $4,647. So, and there'll be no more items going through that line item. Okay, the next department is 410 zoning administration. If you look at line item 101, 410, 962, miscellaneous expense, we had $1,400 budgeted. As of December 31st, we'd spent $2,500, which makes this at 182%. And what that is all the expenses for Mosher's, for the gravel processing plant, or concrete crushing plant that is south of town. And I didn't make an adjustment for that because I'm figuring I probably will have to make an adjustment further down the year as more expenses go through that. And that was on page 5. All right. Now we're on page 7. If I go too fast, if I am, just let me know. Except for you. Page 7, under revenues for highway major, and the same as in highway local, we have $875. That's a reimbursement for expenses we didn't have budgeted. Apparently, we have a contract that we buy salt, and because we buy it at the bulk that we buy it at, we share it with the school, and then they reimburse us. And so that's where that came from. That's on page 7, and on page 8 you can see the same entry for highway local. So John split that up. The expense of it was for highway major and highway local. Okay, what else have we got? Okay.
Are we able to ask questions?
Sure.
It's your treasurer reporting.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if you were asking.
I might not have the
questions
answer, but
now.
you can ask me.
I saw that our lawyer expenses are at 75%. Is that over what we tend to be?
Yes, and again, it probably has to do with that.
After Mosher.
There will probably be an adjustment for that,
Okay.
but I'll do it in third or fourth quarter,
Gotcha.
so that we'll do it one time. Okay?
The cost of vigorously defending your ordinance.
Yes, that's what I was.
Yes, pretty much. Okay, on page 10, this is, whoops, 590548970 capital outlay. We have $2,000 budgeted, and we have a $7,367 credit. So, but if you look up at, farther up the page, 590548800, $7,200 budgeted and $11,403.15 spent. What this is a prior period adjustment. If I reduce the 800 and increase the 970, it's going to be a wash. My cash stays the same. It was just an error from 2018-19 budget. So I apologize. That one was me. Okay, let's go. I have I have two adjustments that I'm going to make. And on page 12, one of them is called 5914-942, building rent to general. We have nothing budgeted, and we currently have $2,500 spent. What that results from is $5,000 that was shown in general as a revenue with a contribution coming from highway, or from the water fund. I did half of the entry, but I didn't do the other half. So I show the revenues coming in, but I don't show it coming out. So I had to make the adjustment in this one.
Why don't we just give the money back?
I can do that if you want. I can reduce the revenues in
The
general.
report that I just gave them, I think we should just give the money back.
Okay?
But our intention was to pull no rent out of the water fund this year anyway. So let's
I
put
can
it
do
back.
that. I can
You
fix
need an
it that way.
approval from council to do it, or is my approval sufficient?
Nope, your approval's fine. I will do it that way then. So then that will remain at 0 and disregard the first journal entry that's gonna be requested. And on the motor pool fund, the 661,599,933, we have equipment maintenance police. We have $4,000 budgeted in that line item. And so far, as of December 31st, we've spent $7,922. What the result of that is, was an accident with the police car that needed body work, and so they went and got the work done. That's an expense from Joe's for $6,310, and that money is coming back to the city, but it's coming back in small amounts, like $25, $50. Apparently, this went to court, and it was financial responsibility to the person that caused the accident or did the accident, and so he has to pay. So it will be coming into the city, but in very low amounts, so we have to make an amendment to show spending that expense.
For the Joe's Body Shop, we don't have insurance for the vehicles, city vehicles?
I think
Pay
this was,
deductible, have it fixed?
I think this went through the police. I will have to do some more research if that was the amount.
cash.
That's not the amount after the insurance. I think that was because it went through the court system. So we can either get paid by the guy or paid by the insurance. I don't know. I can look that up for
You know,
you.
the insurance wants to pay if they can make the guy pay.
Why don't we
So
make the
what?
insurance pay and then let the
Reimburse.
guy pay the insurance back?
So
Okay,
insurance can sue the kid.
So the last one I have is for office equipment expense, 664,580, it's on page 14, 664,589.70. We have $8,000 budgeted, of which we spent $6,007. Now, this includes a new computer for the DPW, a new computer for the squad room, and I believe 3 new computers for City Hall. So that leaves us a little bit left for just in case. Okay, and I think that's just all the highlights I wanted to cover for you all. So in this second quarter budget comparison, please disregard the first amendment completely. We are not going to do that. I'm going to repay the water fund and reduce the revenues that are going to be in the general fund for building rent. And so that leaves us one amendment, which is for the motor pool equipment to cover the cost of that police car. Line item 661,599,00933,020, equipment maintenance police. I'd like to increase that line item by $6,000. This will be coming from fund balance. The original budget total is $4,000, so our new budget total will be $10,000, which makes our total budget expense for the motor pool fund $119,500. So does anybody have any questions?
Just a note, Joanne, by reading that out loud, has spared you guys having to read the details. You can make the motion and there's something right now. She's begun doing that in the last few years, so you guys don't have to
I
sit
have
here and read all the
one more
numbers.
comment. The percentage of the insurance that we have, we were given totals, and it was a 6% increase, which is what we put in the budget. We put that percentage in the budget, and it's actually coming out at 3%. So each of the funds is going to have a little surplus of the health insurance that wasn't spent. So I can give you more detail before we get closer to the end.
So now that we're putting the money back into the water fund, should we resubmit our numbers to the lady with rural development and see if we got to the 1.5 that we're supposed to be?
No, this is, her budget that she did was for last year, so. And it wasn't off by much. It was, like I said, it was 1.1 to 5%, and we were at 1.49. So like I said, this is we've had Mary Capizio, who's our rural development person for the last, I want to say 10, 15 years. And so now we have a new person, her name is, I believe is Kana. And so she's going by the books and going by the rules, and that's what the rules say. So even though we only have 2 more years left on our bonds, we have 2021, 21 and 22 for the water fund. So it's been since '89.
So, are there any questions for the treasurer? Any discussions or motions? What's council's pleasure?
I move that we approve the following second quarter budget comparisons and amendments as presented by the treasurer.
Oh, that was my knuckle.
Second.
Moved by Elliott, seconded by Grass, that we approve the following second quarter budget comparison amendments as presented by the treasurer. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please vote aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please vote no. Motion carries. That will take us to possible first reading of zoning ordinance amendment number 349. This is up fresh from our planning commission. Craig or Genevieve, would you like to give any reports on this proposed ordinance from your discussions at the planning commission? Not trying to put you on the spot, but I wanted to give you an opportunity if there was anything you wanted to say about the work you guys have already done.
Just one quick comment.
Oh, go ahead.
The official contract I'll send to you in a DocuSign tomorrow afternoon.
Oh,
That way we don't have to worry about paper going back and forth, it'll just come and you click on
I
it.
just signed the one she had here.
We could do that.
I'll take her home with me.
Well, have her send that to you. DocuSign doesn't work well on my tablet. And my city email comes to the tablet.
Oh, okay, no problem. Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
So, together, hopefully we can remember everything.
No problem.
So what we're doing is looking at zoning of I-1 and I-2, which are our heavy industry and light industry, and striving to hopefully shore up some loopholes that has caused some of the issues we've had in the last year. Striving to clean up the language and add to language things that would allow or would not allow for things such as rock crushing to happen without coming through and having the proper site plans and everything in order before they get started on doing anything and before and making sure everything's in a row before they have any opportunities to start their business. I say.
Yeah, absolutely. We've posed questions to the city attorney looking for ways to, like Craig said, tighten up that zoning ordinance so heavy industrial uses can be given temporary permits or can be looked at in a way on how they impact general aesthetics, environmental issues, noise, dust, things like that. So this was the first recommendation that we had from the planner. To start that process, we do have some items on the agenda for the upcoming planning commission to look at what does temporary use look like and clarifying temporary use. So that provision that's currently in the ordinance can't be used in industrial settings. So we'll be bringing that forward to you in the next coming meeting.
And it's heavy industrial?
I-1 and I-2.
So I think that's heavy and light, because I think I-1 is an I-1 light and I-2 is heavy.
Thank you. Questions or discussion? Do we have any motions?
Just a reminder.
Who's feeling daring tonight? This sounds like a good job for Terry.
I start from there.
Pardon me?
Whole thing.
We have to read the
Yeah.
Reading the whole ordinance, I thought it was a good job for Terry.
This paragraph.
No, I think the ones that brought it up over here.
Good call.
That would be me. I'm the one who got this whole process started, but I'm not allowed to make a motion.
This first paragraph, and then start reading your ordinance.
If I try to make a motion, Chris gets my gavel and my hand gets it.
That's right. Between which finger? I won't tell you.
Starting.
I move that zoning ordinance amendment number 349 regarding industrial district and general provisions, and which reads as follows, be placed on the next agenda for possible adoption. City of Perry ordains the City of Perry zoning ordinance, section 12.02, table of uses is amended, and the below cited paragraph shall be inserted into the table as follows. Table 12.02, table of uses for industrial districts. All of the included uses for I-1 and I-2 uses include the production, processing, cleaning, testing, repair, storage, and distribution of materials, goods, foodstuffs, and products not involving a retail activity for said uses, all of which uses shall comply with the requirements specified in this ordinance. And the City of Perry zoning ordinance shall be amended by inserting into reserved section 3.33 the following. 3.33, determination of similar use. A, since every type of potential use cannot be addressed in this chapter, each district provides for similar uses referencing this section. All applications for a use not specified addressed in any zoning district shall be submitted to the Planning Commission for review and decision based on the following standards. 1, a finding is made that the proposed use is not listed as a named permitted or special land use in any zoning district. 2, if the use is not addressed in this chapter, the Planning Commission may attempt to select a named use listed in this chapter which most closely resembles the proposed use. Such named use shall be determined using criteria such as potential impact on property values, nature of use, traffic generated, aesthetics, noise, vibration, dust, smoke, odor, glare, and other objectionable impacts on the health, safety, and welfare in the city. 3, if a use is determined to be similar to a named use, the proposed use shall comply with any special land use standards or other ordinance requirements that apply to the named use. 4, where the Planning Commission determines a proposed use is not similar to any named use addressed in this chapter, the applicant may petition for an amendment to this chapter. Letter B, the determination as to whether a proposed use is similar in nature and class to another named permitted or special land use within a district shall be considered as an interpretation of the use regulations and not as a use variance. Any use determined by the Planning Commission to be similar shall thereafter be deemed to be included in the enumeration of the uses. All other provisions of said ordinance not consistent with the above amendments remain in full force and effect. This ordinance shall take effect 30 days from date of publication.
You know, if I rule there's no second, somebody's gonna have to read it again.
There's a second.
I'm sorry.
I'll second that.
Moved by Elliott, seconded by Cottrell. No, I don't think there's another.
Cottrell,
there.
the way it is.
Cottrell?
No,
Cottrell.
we win.
That was misspelled in the Argus, though.
It was.
Well, we'll find Brad Minor and you can use the gavel.
I've already teased him excessively, so.
Regarding the first reading of proposed ordinance number 349. Motion and second, so the matter is up. Is there discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor of first reading, please vote aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please vote no. Motion carries. That takes us to our last item of new business, possible approval of an engineer consulting agreement. Do we have a report on this?
well, John was the one, Superintendent of Public Works has suggested that for site plans, that an engineer should be considered for reviewing the whole proposal. And so we asked the mayor whether we should look into that. This is very comparable to the council approving, not exact, but very similar to the zoning consulting firm that we have, CIB. And this is in place to actually show an engineer that we would contract with and that we would know the hourly rates and for different situations, and would be used in the same effect as our planning firm that we are with, to be able to know what our charges is that we.
With the expectation that this will be taken out of the escrow deposits left with the city.
At this point, yes, we have an escrow that you have approved, and we had Kentucky Fried Chicken that has went through the whole site plan process and has been approved. We did use engineer on the water sewer part of it. It was a little bit more complicated, and Superintendent of Public Works was not comfortable to give the answers professionally, so he got permission from the mayor to ask this company, because Jeff Hansen, the gentleman that is talking to you in this letter, has worked with the city, not as a contracted continual engineer, but with many of our projects, big projects, water and sewer projects. So he's very informed of what we have in the city. The escrow paid for the engineer costs, and we also had attorney reviews, and the escrow at that time covered that, that's what we're seeking in this process, as we're learning what we need to implement through our site plan process.
So this is part of the effort to build a system within the city that provides staff, and the planning commission and council with technical professional advice where needed regarding these issues. Again, coming out of the lessons we've learned in the last year.
Now, are they paid, is this a salary, or is this whenever they're being utilized? The engineers?
The process that happened with KFC, and I'm explaining that we should continue this way, we only have so much escrow being asked right now, and some of the projects might be bigger. So what we were advised is that when we go to an engineer of the proposal, a lot of times they can tell us about how much it would cost to give us the answer. And so that would let us know whether you can go forward. What we were advised with Kentucky Fried Chicken is to let the engineer know how much is in escrow, and if it was gonna cost anything more, then they should stop what they were doing, and that we needed to go to the applicant and ask for more fees to pay for that service.
The answer to your direct question is it's paid for services, it's not a salary. So if they don't do it, if they don't do
Drag
it,
it on.
if they don't work, they don't get paid.
Okay, okay.
So it's just, it's an as needed.
Yes.
So it's a city work.
It's an hourly rate as,
It's a city work.
That's how it's covered through the escrow.
But they get paid.
I think,
Even if they
and there's
don't.
no retainers that we are required to pay as a city other than that, correct?
Other discussions or questions? Is
Well, I
there,
was gonna say, it was obviously something that was useful because they did require the KFC plan, the architects to do some different things on the engineering part of it for the sewer system that would not have been caught if we did not have something in place.
thank you.
Having it available to, having both of those available to the planning commission really gives us a level of confidence that we can have in looking at the site plan review, so it's a useful tool.
Is there a motion?
I move that we authorize the mayor to sign the proposed agreement from Lockwood, Andrews and Newman Incorporated, regarding engineering services and hourly fee schedule for reviews, development, or up to the city for possible approval, which may be amended yearly in April.
Second.
Moved by Grass, seconded by Elliott, that we authorize the mayor to sign the proposed agreement from Lockwood Andrews and Newman, Inc., regarding engineering services and hourly fee schedule for reviews of development brought to the city for possible approval, which may be amended yearly in April. Is there a discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say no. Motion carries. So that'll move us to any other business may come before council. This is the second opportunity for members of the public to address the council on any matter. This is a separate 3-minute time limit. Would anyone like to address the council about anything at this time? Do members of council have any other items of business that need to come before you for your action tonight? Hearing none, we'll move to council discussions and observations. Councilman Grass.
No, I'm good.
Councilman Wood.
No.
Councilman Powell.
Yes,
No.
I would.
You have 3 minutes.
does Shirley have to write a letter like this every year,
Yes,
every calendar year?
yes,
Okay, and it has to be done.
according to charter.
Okay, good. I like it, she's a great girl.
It's just so members of
just-
council are aware of potential conflicts of interest.
Right.
And since once a year helps make sure that all new council members get briefed into the process. Anything else, Chris?
No.
Thank you. Councilman Elliott? Councilwoman Galbavy? Mayor Pro Tem Cantrell?
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Pictures and
I feel like
touches
I've
did
talked-
hit the floor already.
Oh, I got you. Well, I think I've talked enough tonight, too. So that will take us to items for next agenda. We will have possible approval of ordinance number 349. Does anybody have anything else for the next agenda?
I would like us to discuss possibly finishing the work on the McLean House where the leak was. And I'm not sure how much they did. We gave them, I think it was 6,000. And they did some repair, and then they did some repair, but there was more to be done on there.
Okay, let's
And
put it on for
we can,
discussion.
maybe get the figures.
We'll get
talk
John
about
in here so that we can have a conversation, we can get an understanding on what's been done, where we're at. Oh, by the way, I had meant to say, in light of the letter from the Historical Society, if there's no objection, I'm going to dissolve the work group. There's no point in us meeting if we're not having conversations. So is there any objection to me dissolving the work group? Good. Thank you, Mindy. Anything else for the next agenda?
And I have another thing, we never had any meetings for the sign ordinance,
Sure.
the finance ordinance committee, and I'd like us to talk about what we can do
Michael was on that one
to
also.
take care of that.
Michael was supposed to be leading that. Okay, so Mindy's correct. How would council like to proceed with taking that up? Do we want to put it into a work group to talk about, or do we want to address it as a committee of the whole?
What, you talking the sign ordinance?
Yeah, the temporary sign ordinance is
Or put
currently
it
under
into a group.
moratorium by council.
Probably better put it into a couple, 3 people. I imagine we haven't come to terms with it as a group.
Well,
And for that matter, the display ordinance as well has not been.
no, I vetoed that one because of the,
was,
I mean,
was
council can
decided.
bring it up, but that one was finalized. I vetoed it because we suspended the sign ordinance, and I wasn't gonna go have the same fight down there with them. Since we didn't wanna have the fight, I prevented the fight. Certainly, council can get back into a display ordinance if you want to. That
Because I
came up
didn't
through planning
realize that
commission.
was not going to be finished.
I didn't know he vetoed it either.
I announced it at the council meeting after I did it.
Maybe I wasn't here.
I don't know, I hadn't checked.
It was a long time ago.
But that doesn't forbid council from going back to the question and reconsidering it. But I'm just saying,
So
do you want to?
we're leaving that as the original ordinance, and what's in the original ordinance for the display?
I could ask the question of the city attorney if
You
there
know,
are any
the
parameters.
product, putting the products out on the sidewalk?
No, but nothing
That
changed.
display. So that is
Nothing
just,
Yeah.
Right,
What
that
is
ordinance,
being
that
done
never
with that?
became an ordinance. Whether or not you can re-adopt the same ordinance would be a question I'd have to ask the city attorney. I don't know, you might be able to re-adopt it with a slight change if you can't re-adopt the exact same ordinance, but we could certainly ask the question. But I believe the subject matter certainly can be revisited. But all I'm asking is, do we want to have a work group address this first and come back with recommendations? Or do we want to address it here, so that everybody gets to listen and have?
Would that go through the planning commission? Or-
It did originally.
Yeah, so does it, does it go back down there and try again, or do we just?
I can ask the question if it's required to go through the planning commission, or based on the work that the planning commission has already done, if you guys can. Do you have to redo that process? Since you've gotten advice from the planning commission, they've already made recommendations, held their hearings. But what's the approach that we want to take? Does everybody want to be part of that discussion?
I should say let's do
I
it.
don't know if these two do
Okay,
horseplay.
Genevieve, are you willing to lead the work group?
Certainly.
Certainly. Okay, Mindy, you were part of that work group. Who else was part of that?
Can I be
I don't think
included?
it was, I don't think it was work group, you kicked it to the planning store.
No, we're gonna have
No,
the
that's
three
true.
women.
It's a standing
Yeah.
committee, and
We're not
Genevieve gets it
doing
because the
three
mayor
women.
pro tem always gets the finance and
Yeah,
ordinance.
I'm
committee.
just talking about in terms that I'm not familiar with, you're talking, it sounds like to me you're talking about creating a work group, which is different than a standing committee.
Yeah.
So I don't,
Functionally, it's not really any different. But
the one's
You were-
standing and the one's created.
Send
So
it
those
back
are-
to the
you were a
ordinance.
member?
Yes, I was part, cause I'm part of the
Okay.
finance ordinance committee.
Send
I
it
like
back to
it.
the ordinance committee.
I like
That's
it.
what they're for.
Oh, I'm sorry, actually, we can only have 3 members, otherwise you'll be having meetings of the Perry City Council.
I'll be the extra if anybody,
Well, we want to
somebody
be,
calls in, I'll be there.
okay, I don't have any objection, but we want to be careful. If there's 4 of you there, all 4 can't talk unless we've posted a special meeting, which I can do if a lot of council members want to attend the committee meeting. Let me know and I'll call a special meeting so you could all be heard. We want to be careful, we don't want to accidentally have an illegal meeting in Perry City
Right,
Council.
I can dig that, I just think we need to,
Chris, if you would like my spot.
no, you take it, but I do think it's very important to go to every single retail store and ask them, this is what we're thinking here, what do you think?
I think it's gonna
And-
take one meeting just for you to understand what happened to it.
When it went away?
This thing is this thick and it's still sitting on my desk. That's why I asked
And it
to
was on
at least
time ago.
participate in the beginning and to explain some history with it.
And there's
Again,
absolutely no problem if you want to come and listen to the committee meeting.
Okay, yeah, certainly, I mean,
Yes, you just don't join in the conversation and you've followed the law. You're absolutely allowed to listen,
what if there was like a time for a comment? Could I make a comment?
not without creating a special meeting.
You'll have to
You
bring the
can't
duct
speak.
tape.
Yeah,
What if somebody went potty?
or someone else.
She's saying duct.
And then I said,
You cannot raise your hand and talk.
For your protection, Genevieve will throw the gavel at you, knock you
No,
out.
no, no, no.
Will, no.
Oh.
She'll walk over and just whack him in the head for it.
I know this seems like a piddly-ante thing, but really,
Yeah, I know.
there have been municipal officials who've gotten in trouble for this stuff, and I don't want any of you in trouble. You're already doing enough work and contributing
trouble.
enough to the
Already.
community.
I
You
don't want to
need
be
hassle.
involved, so I'll take that back.
You don't need
He's
hassle,
familiar.
and I'm not a friend with the Attorney General.
He said, tell people the Attorney General is my uncle.
She's
You
your
want to mess
Female.
with me?
She's your uncle?
She's a female.
Oh, this was back, oh, you were probably still
So
in
we're not
diapers or so.
So Devin will have all the stuff that you need, just let me know
Yes.
if there's anything you need. If you want to have a conversation
I will
about the
do.
history around that, I'll
will
gladly
do
spend
that.
some time talking with you why the decisions that were made. We have minutes that you can use.
I got a stack.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna need a lot of background.
Perfect. Thank you, Mindy. So that'll go into the committee and we'll hear back from them. Anything else for the next agenda? All right. If anything else comes to your attention between now and the next meeting, which is scheduled for, it's the Finance and Ordinance Committee. Genevieve is the chair as Mayor Pro Tem, and Mindy and Adam are members. Our next meeting is scheduled for Thursday, March 5th. If anything comes to your attention between now and then, please let the clerk know. We'll get all matters of business that need your attention on the agenda for your consideration. A reminder that the Mayor Pro Tem will be chairing that meeting in March, so be nice to her. I'll be here and I'll know if you're not being nice to her.
Can I
Never
interject
know.
something?
Of course.
Has everyone gone to a school board meeting? That
This
we
school
made a
year, no.
schedule? So, do we need to make a new schedule?
I think they're throwing up the idea of having a couple of them and a couple of us going for breakfast somewhere off-site,
Yeah.
because nobody here goes over there. They
And
said
only-
that's not working, so maybe we gotta try something else.
And only Kathy comes here from them.
They're having a hard time getting a quorum
I
there.
think we should make a schedule, another schedule and stick with it. I'll write it down and remind people.
If you want to
July.
submit one, if you want to submit one at the next council meeting, I'll put an administrative signature on it and we'll see if Terry listens to me.
Say what? You
Because
gotta
it's
say
an open
what?
question whether the mayor can order a Councilman Wood to do anything.
Hasn't worked so far, has it?
Not my experience.
You wouldn't have to be worried, because he's already on.
All right, go Grant, it's done.
All right, the time is now 8:01 PM and we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.